Welcome to All Gold Everything, a podcast for people who love democracy.
And vote.
Woo! Woo woo.
Yeah.
Sandy and I had a day of just like, it was actually Sandy and Heidi's day of fun today.
It was good. So good!
We basically had the best day ever.
We were shopping!
We did. We went shopping. We got some new threads. I'm wearing mine because I'm like one of those people that I go shopping and I want to wear my shit out the store.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was a kid and I got to go like a couple times, you know, I would say like at least at school time we would get a new pair of shoes, you know, then I would be that kid that's like, I want to wear my new shoes out of the store. Put my old shoes in the box, throw them the fuck away. I don't care. I want to have my new shoes on my feet. But I was never even worried about like keeping them clean or anything.
No,
like I was never worried about like
be?
trying to keep Nikes clean or whatever. I just
That
wanted
was
to.
a late 90s phenomenon,
Yeah.
the whole like keep your shoes clean stuff.
I'm glad that it skipped me because like I'm a tidy person, but I'm not like obsessed with things being like super clean. So anyway.
It doesn't need to be clean. I mean, proof is in the pudding. I mean, just saying.
So we had a fucking awesome day today. We got together this morning. We got to go to yoga, which was awesome. We got to like the newest yoga instructor at Moda Yoga in Portland. Is that what it's called? Modo Yoga in Portland. His name is Tyson, and he takes a guitar out at the end and does like a little strum.
He does.
Which I felt some kind of way about it last time.
I'm bummed I didn't get to be surprised because Joey had already taken the class.
That's true.
You had
You
already
knew.
taken the class.
You knew what to expect.
I knew it was coming, but I didn't expect to have the experience I had with it, which was one of pure enjoyment.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And here's what. I'm going to tell you why.
Tell
it was
me.
one of pure enjoyment. I felt like I heard like fingers on a string on a guitar.
Yes.
Which was cool. It
Yeah.
wasn't like just a sound coming out of a speaker. Like it's like when I am in the yoga class, I could be really like present with just what's right here, right now. And it was the sound of that an actual guitar makes.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
That was pretty cool. The first time it happened, it was a little off-putting to me because am I having a stroke? Oh my God,
You're like, why did you get your guitar? What is happening right now? This is a yoga studio, man.
I'm a little over-caffeinated. Well, there are some pretty strict rules about like what's allowed in the studio,
yeah.
right? Like they have like this like the silence area, no talking, whatever, no shoes past the front desk. I mean, there's some stuff that makes me feel a little nervous every time I do something that's like a little not exactly right. So I was a little put off the first time that he pulled the guitar out because not only did he pull out the guitar, which is unexpected, but he also started singing, which I don't think he did that this time. Did he?
No.
Okay, yeah. So he was doing like a lot of like vowel singing, like lots of like like not actual words but singing. So it was a little bit weird. But
was it like a yoga like humming?
No, because it certainly was not like an It was like a
Like it wasn't like some Sanskrit mantra or anything like that.
It was like a pop star came into the yoga studio.
Like Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, it kind of was like that. It was like as if Lady Gaga just. It was like as if. As if Lady.
Did he put his hand up?
He might have. I was in Shavasana. Well, that was the other thing is that I was so curious about it. I opened my eyes I was in Shavasana. I know my eyes are supposed to be closed. I get that those are the rules, but I had to like open my eye just a little bit to say like,
what the fuck is going on?
The fuck is going on over here? Hey. And so it was a little bit like as if Christina Aguilera and Lady Gaga got together and decided to do like their acoustic set in the yoga studio. So needless to say, I was a little surprised.
That would
but
be
this
a
today
little more startling if the singing started.
And at one point he did switch into like falsettos, which is like a super high voice for guys. So he was like, he was like,
He was like,
That's more accurate.
Was it like Ariel? Like,
I might have been less startled if it had been like an Ariel Ursula situation, but it was more like it was just a little.
I bet he was doing something yogic, and he was just on. He was just
on one. He was on a yogic
plane.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a little less
that we just can't possibly understand.
I can't. I fucking did not understand it.
I'm sure it had nothing to do with his ego either.
No,
not at all.
No.
Couldn't possibly.
So today was a little less startling for me because he wasn't into the vocalizing, we'll call it, instead. And I started to consider it like I have seen a lot of literature would be an overstatement. Flyers recently. Literature. I've seen a lot of flyers recently for like sound baths.
Oh, right. I have too.
Right.
I like that you were like, I saw literature. Wait, no, it wasn't literature. It was a flyer.
It was a flyer.
It was a flyer.
It wasn't like a fucking book or anything like that. It was a fucking flyer.
It was an Instagram post.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
actually
let's
like
be honest.
made on Canva,
Yeah.
printed out. Okay, so
What is a sound bath?
that's my question. I was like, oh, what's a sound bath? And then I think a sound bath is just like a fancy way of saying music.
Oh.
Acoustic music. That's going to be my guess. So anyway, today I started to think about this. Maybe this is just a sound bath.
Oh.
Maybe I'll just be relaxed by this sound bath that I'm in that's being provided by Tyson.
Well, my experience was I felt like I enjoyed a different experience. I enjoyed the moment of just being able to hear the strings of a guitar.
Yeah.
And it's in the simplest form, you know, because I do usually hear a ton of music played through a speaker and it's highly, you know, produced.
Yeah.
I was going to say producted. Not really a word.
Not a word.
It's close to produce.
Close, but yeah.
But yeah, so I was just like, whoa, I enjoyed this, and I saw it coming, and I still enjoyed it. So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Tyson.
Thank you, Tyson.
Tyson at
Midway
Moto
through
Yoga.
that story, I looked over at your microphone stand and saw that you still have your air freshener, Atomic
Yeah.
Glory, or
Is
what's
it
it called?
In the shot? I don't think it's in the shot.
It's not in the shot.
Atomic Glory.
Atomic Glory. It's Blaze of Atoms. I can't remember what it's called.
Can we call it Blaze of
We can't.
Atomic Glory?
Blaze of Atomic Glory. I want to go out in a blaze of atomic glory.
B-O-A-G.
Boag. So that's amazing. So anyway, we got to go to yoga, and then we got to go have some fancy toast, avocado toast, and I had pear and cardamom toast at Holiday, which was delicious. A little shout out if you're ever on Southeast Division. Holiday is a yummy, yummy spot. And then
Juices, smoothies,
all the
lots of
things.
it's like mostly vegan, and then
Yeah.
they'll throw an egg on something if you want them to.
if you
right?
ask, yeah. So the whole menu is plant based, and then they'll throw an egg on it if you ask. And then we went and shopped a little bit at Adorn, which is a shop on Division, has cutie stuff that we're thinking of partnering with. But then the highlight for me was that we got to go visit Sarah at One Imaginary Girl.
We did.
God, Sarah, you are an angel. I fucking love you. I hope you're watching.
I don't even do this, Sarah, because
Well, it looks like a rectangle.
I feel like
Can you put Sandy's heart in the heart? I don't know. In the
Please
heart
don't.
filter. No.
so. Heidi would probably say this is basic, but I'm gonna do it because
I like it. I don't think it's basic.
I enjoyed it.
I do have a side conversation, a side a digression around the word basic again.
Oh, okay. Or do
for
you have
this
to
week.
clarify? Do you have to clean that up?
I don't know if it's that I have to clarify or clean it up, but I do think that I often use the word basic in my own brain to think of something that's mainstream. Do you think that's an accurate?
So you're clarifying and cleaning up.
Yeah. But do you think that's accurate? Do you think basic
Maybe.
means
I
something
mean,
else?
I don't know. Do we want
No,
to
we
get
don't.
into
We don't need to get
this?
into it because actually, what we need to talk about is going to visit fucking the angelic Sarah at One Imaginary Girl. So One Imaginary Girl used to be in the Pearl District. Sarah runs the studio. She is an incredible designer, and she gave us access to her entire collection.
Oh my gosh.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. So much fun.
Yeah. She let us like shop with Wild Abandon. She was like, "Oh, these sample sizes of this." She was so great. She was like, she looked at Sandy. She's like, "Oh, I bet you're a size this. Why don't you try this? This would look great." I mean, it was just like dialed. She was so generous with her time. All of her product was so. I mean, I just wanted all of it.
Yeah.
I wanted all of it.
Yeah.
I did buy this shirt, so you can't have
So
it. It was the
cute.
last one. No one else can have any more of them.
Which is another thing that's like really fresh about it because you know you're not going to
Mhm.
see anybody else wearing it, and you know like you picked it out all by yourself, and you don't have to
Mhm.
worry about being basic or mainstream or
That's
whatever. Like you actually
I wear what I want.
just did something that was like
Sandy got a cutie shirt
unique.
and shorts that match that are adorable. I can't wait for you to wear
I
that.
cannot wait for that.
I was really hoping to wear it tonight.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to, but I'm
Mhm.
like, I felt like we might like super clash. And not that like I think we need to match, but like super clash.
Mhm,
I was worried about a super clash. And a super clash with a
Atomic. Now I can't remember what we decided to call it.
Blaze of Atomic
Blaze of
Glory.
Atomic Glory.
Boag. A super
need to write that
clash
down here.
and a boag in the same moment. It's too much. I don't
No,
think we
it's
can
too much.
handle it.
No.
But I did love. She makes the best mini skirt I've ever seen.
She makes
in my
a
life. and
fucking
just-
phenomenal mini
I
skirt.
just wanted to shake my booty like I was
Yeah.
making pancakes in that skirt. Oh my god!
That's snap-worthy.
Yeah.
That's snap-worthy. I mean, there's something about it. It just hits all of her mini skirts hit like 2 inches above your knee.
So good.
They're like, some of them are like just, and the fabrics are super simple. So it's not like weird fabric. It's like, the one I ended up buying was like a cotton mini skirt and it looks so cute. We're going to wear it for the photo shoot. So one of the things that we did that's great is Sarah was super generous, like I said, with her time and with her clothes. She's going to lend us some items to wear for our photo shoot that's coming up at the end of the month.
You can't wait. I can't wait. You can't wait.
Nobody can wait for this. One of the prints is just, I mean, I want to talk about that print so bad, but I don't know if we should leave it as a surprise.
Yeah, we'll just leave it a surprise.
You're going to have to check it out later. So that was like easily the highlight of the day, talking to Sarah and going
For
to
sure.
do that. Yeah, she was great. And then we kind of split up and we parted ways for a little bit and now we're back together.
I know.
Hey.
What a day. But I've been in dreamland about what we did
Yeah.
and about this photo shoot and the ideas that we came up with. And it's like, we just collaborate so well together because
We
I
do.
just felt like everything just like came together and it was great. And it's going to be great. And I'm in dreamland.
Yeah. Well,
all
part of
day.
it is that it's super fun. And then part of it is that you have great creative vision. And part of it is like we're just fucking fly. So,
I know,
we make good choices.
It's hard to just like have things just not just come together. I mean, honest.
So this is our 4th week on video.
week 4.
Whoa. Go to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Please share the link. It's a big deal for us. And it's really fun to be doing on video. But it does have some it has changed our setup a little bit.
Yeah, well, we're tweaking it every time. Well,
Right.
When by we, I mean Mark.
Yeah, Mark's doing a great job.
Our
Thank you,
diligent
Mark.
producer.
This beautiful lighting. I feel like, oh, there he
Yes.
Mark's avatar is this lovely pumpkin-inspired candle, perhaps. But anyway, it's getting better and better. It's so much fun. I will say it is inhibiting my ability to snack on the show.
Yeah.
That prior to this, when we used to just do audio, I would always like bring some popcorn in or like just bringing popcorn is kind of an understatement. I would have like all kinds of snacks set out on that little table, and then I would just move away from the microphone while I was like snacking, basically.
Or sometimes I wouldn't move away from the
That's
microphone.
true.
I'd be like, if I wasn't really hard.
The
then I was
episode
like,
with the
"Crunk, crunk,
Tootsie
crunk."
Pop is
Oh,
the one that I
right,
remember
right.
being really
You're
bad.
like,
Or I don't know, was it a Tootsie Pop? Some kind of lollipop.
There was a Tootsie Pop
Yeah.
moment. There was a Tootsie Pop moment.
Yeah, it happens. So it is harder to snack when we're on video. And it does mean that we can't come straight from yoga. I mean, we do have to put a little bit of...
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of wake up like this.
Yeah. No.
But that's not really very honest. I mean, you can tell.
I don't wake up this pale.
I mean,
A lot of makeup. to
I am
make
just
me this
one of the
pale.
things that's really fun though about this is it's fun to kind of go into my own closet and be like, okay, what can I wear? Like, what kind of look can I bring? It's fun to see what you're bringing with your looks. It's just kind of a fun thing because I don't spend much time going out anymore.
Right.
Occasionally I get dressed up for like an event or something that I do, but it's like, oh, it's just kind of fun to play. So I was just wondering what your thoughts were on being on video. If you have any, I don't know, what your thoughts are, how it's changing for you.
It's been a trip because I think that the first time we did it, I was just like, oh my God, this is so fun. I see myself on TV. This is so fun. And then the second time I was just wrangling. I don't know if it was the second time, but I remember the second time I remember I'm like just
You were wrangling your puppy.
Weebay, and
Yeah.
I was like, I was not present, and I hardly even, and then I was busy and I hardly had time to watch that. And then the third time I watched it, and I felt like I finally was able to watch it with like a critical eye, and then I
Yeah.
was like, so then I was seeing everything
That's hard.
that was,
Yeah.
could use improvement.
Mhm.
And it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that dramatic, but it was like watching it with a critical eye was a different experience than
Yeah.
watching it the first time when it was just like, oh my God, we're on TV.
Well, I will say one of the things that's interesting, this is true for me, I think it's probably true for you too, is that, we look at ourselves with the kind of, just like, I think generally we are, let me start this over. This is true for me. Generally, I have a lot of self-love. I think this is true for you too. And I try not to be super critical of myself, but it is hard to be on a video platform now and not be like, oh, I don't like the way this looks. Oh, I don't like the way that looks. And so this is a great, I think, experience and opportunity for me to keep showing up because I think what we're doing is so important. And I think the words we have to say are actually so much more important than like what I look like as I say them.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really good to kind of sit with a little bit of discomfort. Like on the first episode, there was something that I didn't love about like being the way I was lit or something. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm hardly going to say we can't put this out there because I don't,
yeah.
because I'm so self-centered that I don't like the way
No, but you did make sure
know-
you get the selfie camera raised
That's
as
right.
high as you can.
Tonight, that camera is high. It's tilted down. We got that dialed. Yes, that is true.
Heidi's happy.
I'm much happier. But yeah, so it's been for me. I'm surprised by how much I am enjoying the willingness to just move forward, even if I feel a little uncomfortable with the way I look in an image.
Oh yeah, like
You know?
I'm like it's not about, having any regret about how I look because like this is me. But when we get a long shot in a heart and it's just a terrible camera angle, I'm not hating on me for that. Hell no. Please, I'm fly. It's a shitty camera angle.
Yeah.
And so those are the things where it's like what I'm talking about, like looking at it with a critical eye, looking for room for improvement.
Yeah.
I am not for a minute hating on myself. Like what I'm actually loving, the part I'm loving about watching myself is, I see photos of me. I see selfies of me. I rarely get to see what I look like when I talk and my facial expressions. And it's kind of like
That's fun.
the experience I love is just like seeing me. I love, like, it's like, oh, that's Sandy.
Yeah.
Like that's what Sandy looks on the outside. Like, cause I only know what Sandy looks like on the inside going out. And so like to see it from the outside, I'm like, oh,
that's good.
So I'm definitely not having any like self-hatred from it.
Yeah. And I love what you mentioned that we're really learning a lot about like camera angles, right? I mean, and lighting and stuff that like, oh, I had no idea about how any of this stuff worked. So it's really a cool learning experience.
Like I pointed out earlier, it's like we know when we take selfies, I see like your Instagram, you can take a picture with a really nice camera angle and look really good, and then you can take a picture with a really shitty camera angle and look really shitty. Like we know that. So if we can use camera angles to our advantage, then there may be some camera angles we need to cut because they're not quite right.
Yep.
Anyway, that might have been too much detail on my experience with it, but that's my experience.
Anyway, if you're thinking about going to YouTube for any kind of platform, email us so we can give you all of our knowledge about it. Ask us a listener question. Send us something to respond to you about. We want to interact with you is the point.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be cool. So we are broadcasting tonight. It is the 7th of November, the day after the midterm elections. I feel like we were talking about this before the show, a little bit compelled to at least you can't be a little bit compelled. You're either compelled or you're not. Compelled to discuss it because it's current events. It's what's going on right now. We were urging everyone to vote last week. So,
yeah, I mean, how crazy it would be if we came in and just talked about like Kanye again. And it's like, hello.
There's something else there.
Yeah.
So there were some huge victories for Democrats last night. I heard a Republican strategist actually early on in the evening say it was a mixed bag. And actually, as all of the results came in, I was irritated to hear him say that, but as all of the results came in, it kind of is accurate. It was kind of a mixed bag. There were some.
Thank you for saying that because I'm really sick of people being like, we won the House.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, don't fuck you. Like, we won the House, yes, but we lost. There were areas we lost.
Yeah, I think,
if this were a true referendum, we would have won.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the one way to look at it is this: like in one of the most challenging political times of my lifetime, your lifetime, our lifetime, we have one of the most polarizing executives in power. Or executive branches we've ever seen, and lots of people that I hear opposed to what's going on there, and yet it was still not possible for Democrats to sweep, basically.
Right.
So that kind of had me like in the doldrums, kind of Eeyoring. But then, or not Eeyoring, but just in the doldrums, like that's shitty, But then I did start to think like, well, it's a mixed bag. We picked up some seats in the House. Like there will be some potential to exercise some checks and balances in that way. Not a strong check or balance, but like a possibility.
Thank you for being realistic about it, because what I'm tired of hearing is these people like celebrating.
Yeah.
Like it's a move in the right direction. It's progress, but not perfection.
Yep.
It's progress less than what we hoped for.
Right.
Yet it's still progress.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's worth throwing the baby out with the bathwater and being like, well, this is totally fucked.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's quite the victory that everyone is saying that is. I will say that, I mean, there were a lot of victories for women of color and women in particular. A lot of more women running and a lot more women having success. Although my understanding is that a lot of that success was largely concentrated in areas that actually were largely suburban, that voted for Hillary in 2016 anyway. But, I mean, that does not take away from any of those victories. So that's incredible.
It's that's when I'll say it still is what it is.
Yeah.
Yay, let's get more women in there. And I'm glad,
And young women.
That's
2 women under
too.
30.
Wonderful too.
Yeah.
Is
I think
that
that's
in the
important.
House?
That's in the House. Both of those seats are in the House. One is from Iowa and one is from New York. So both of those young women in the House. And then 2 Native American women, one from Kansas, one from New Mexico in the House of Representatives. 2 stories that I thought were weird was, I'm not sure if you've heard this one yet, that voters in Nevada elected a dead pimp to the House of Congress.
The House of Congress.
House of Congress. House of Representatives.
Oh.
Excuse me.
I was like,
So apparently,
is that just in Pahrump, this House of Congress? Is it a what's that place? Is it a brothel? The House of Congress.
the House of Congress might be a brothel in Nevada,
Yeah.
and the pimp at the House of Congress is a guy I didn't even bother looking up his name. He was dead months before the election, but his name had already been printed on the ballot. Apparently, in the state of Nevada, if you are dead and your name is printed on the ballot, they just go, well, you're already on the ballot. You stay there on the ballot. They don't remove you from the
Right.
ballot. And then a set of commissioners, if you are elected as a dead person, a set of posthuman. Oh my God, I can't say this. Posthuman.
I think it's posthumously.
Posthumously. If you're elected posthumously, they
Posthumously.
posthumous. It's so funny.
You read the literature on the Instagram and you posthumously.
Posthumously.
Post.
Then if you are elected, but you're dead, then this committee of people get to appoint someone to replace you. So it could be a kind of a political move.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's in the state of Nevada. I don't know if that's everywhere else, but apparently this pimp in Nevada had gotten on the ballot. He was found dead a couple months ago by none other than Ron Jeremy in Nevada, maybe in a brothel, maybe in the House of Congress brothel.
This is good.
I know.
I know Heidi Fleiss is involved.
You know it.
I know she is.
God, she has not been on the radar in a long time.
Well, she's like holed up in Pahrump, not posthumous, Pahrump,
Yeah.
Nevada, with her birds and her mat.
I forgot that she. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How do we know that about her? Is that from Dr. Drew's rehab?
Yes.
That's how we know that.
Well, she also
yeah.
frequents his podcasts more recently than whatever that. I can't remember what that reality show was. I'm not actually
What
up
was
on
that show called? Getting Sober with Dr. Drew or something?
Yeah.
Celebrity Rehab.
But it's Celebrity Rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a
So
minute.
she's they're apparently good friends, and she
Oh.
shows up on they try to like intervene on
Oh my
her
God.
addiction.
Dr. Drew and Heidi Fleiss being good friends. It's like I feel like that would nearly make as good of a podcast as Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla. She's like basically, is she the female version of Adam Carolla?
No. No.
No. Okay.
No. She's a former madam / meth head, but she's a really honest addict is
Yeah.
what she is.
Yeah.
She's really sick and stuck in her disease, but she's really honest about it. And
Yeah.
she's like, I remember once I was seeing a patient in a clinic who had a meth addiction, and she was in her like late 60s. She looked like she was in her 80s, but she was like, look, it's really too hard to get clean. I've tried it several times. I've had clean moments in my life. It's too hard to get clean. This isn't actually an easier life for me, and I'm just going to do it.
Oh,
She just made the decision.
God, yeah.
She's going to live this way. And she was really honest because we were in a healthcare setting.
Yeah.
And she was really honest with
Yeah.
her provider about it. And I was just like, and the provider was very respectful to her and was like, okay, I hear you. Like, how can, let's just see how we can best support you. And it's kind of like Heidi Fleiss the same way. She's just really honest about her disease.
Yeah.
And she understands it and where she is in it.
Yeah.
But she crazy.
She crazy.
She crazy.
I want to have her call in the show. I would
Right?
love to have her call in and give
Yeah.
us some. And
She collects and rescues large birds.
I did know that. I knew
Yeah.
that from Celebrity Rehab because I think she was saying she couldn't go to rehab because who would take care of her birds?
Right, yeah.
So anyway, the dead pimp got elected, and I'm sure like strategically that Republicans in Nevada, this committee of people in Nevada.
Well,
were
wait.
like-
Was the pimp a Democrat or a Republican?
He was a Republican.
I love that shit.
Yeah, so he's a Republican pimp on the ticket on the Republican ballot. So then this set of Republican commissioners get to replace him with whoever they want. So that's the first one that I thought was like really, aside from like the very seriously noteworthy events, that one kind of like
very
it's
seriously
it's pretty
noteworthy.
seriously
I'm
notewortly.
like,
I'm
yeah.
not entirely sure why we're not talking about it more, frankly.
I know, right.
So, the other one is that this one I have not fact checked.
That's okay.
So we play fast and loose with our facts around here. Okay, a couple of years ago, I think you remember in Kentucky, there was a woman named Kim Davis who was a clerk at like a marriage license office, and she refused to
I do
issue
remember.
a marriage license to
Yes.
same-sex couples, and it was like a huge, I think it went I have a feeling that it went that it was a constitutional challenge. Yeah, I think it went to the Supreme Court or
I
something.
believe it did.
Okay,
It was
so-
either that or the wedding cake maker.
Yeah. I mean, the wedding cake maker I know has been to the Supreme Court. I don't know if Kim Davis has. Okay, so much to my chagrin, shortly after that, she was actually elected to the House in Kentucky. I'm thinking this has to be the state house, not the
Right.
federal level House of Representatives. So, like, ew, that's disgusting, unfortunate, and all
Actually,
kinds
not shocking, right? Not shocking.
of. We don't have any listeners in Kentucky, so say what we want.
Well, no, I mean, not even
Well, and
just
also-
about
yeah,
Kentucky.
yeah.
Just like people are coming out of the woodwork, just like letting their like we might want to let our freak flag fly. They're
Yeah.
letting their like bigot flag fly
Yeah.
right now, and so it's not shocking
Yeah.
anymore.
So
Anyway,
she
I
was
keep
elected.
interrupting, I'm so
No, it's
sorry.
good. This is good. This is the point of the podcast. So it would be weird if I was like, okay. So anyway, she was elected to the House of Representatives in the state of Kentucky, and last night she was unseated in the election
Good.
by the very man whom she denied a marriage license to. Yes.
No!
Yes.
That's the realest shit
That-
right there.
that is some
That's
ish.
the realest shit.
Fucking, that's what I want to happen. If you say no to me, if you're some kind of a-hole, I want to get the sweetest, most ironic revenge.
That is justice.
That is justice.
justice.
That is justice. Yes.
Justice.
I like this as your justice,
It's very firm.
your gesticulation. This is for justice. So I really felt like
I want to be like,
you want to be like Christina Aguilera doing an acoustic session in the hot yoga room. I'm right there with you. It's like I'm in your brain right now. You are beautiful, no matter what they say. So those were the only two election stories that I really
you
felt like.
You made my night.
I know.
Oh, I just want
I do
Don't
what I can.
fact check that.
I won't.
I need to
I
fall
won't.
asleep tonight believing.
I thought about fact
That
checking
is
it,
truth.
and then I'm like, fuck that. That's a great fucking
Truth.
story. That's what we're
Yeah.
That's what we're rolling
Don't
with.
fact check that.
One other thing is that there is this new documentary on Netflix. It is called Serving the Royals, and it is about the royal family of, I guess, Windsor, the Windsor royal. What the fuck? I don't even know what they're called.
Isn't that the queen?
The queen,
Okay.
right? Like,
Yes.
is there another?
Yes.
I mean, I just got worried that maybe I would say like the royal family,
Well, I'm
and
sure-
people would like be worried. People would like be confused. I was like talking about myself.
Which royal
Yeah.
family? I don't. There's so many.
I don't know which royal family. Okay, the London royal, the
Yeah.
UK's royal
No,
family.
I think you're right. Okay, here's the thing. There are like some serious, like, I don't know what they're called, Britophiles. There's a word for them.
there are some people, Anglophiles.
Anglophiles, and they'll know. And then like we probably have listeners over there who
Yeah.
are just gonna like cringe. So I know
We
we'll
have one
probably get
listener
it
in the
wrong.
UK. Whoever you are in the UK, you're listening, send us an email. Please reach out to us. Let us know about this.
Oh,
Okay.
I wonder. I might know who it is.
Ooh, hey, special message. Okay, so in the show, it's a documentary series that follows the staff, specifically the butlers to the royals. Okay, so I have not seen the show yet, but obviously it's on my next thing to
I
watch.
like where this is going.
So I don't know who is the weirdest of the royals. I mean, and I'm not entirely sure which of the cast, like how wide the scope is, right? Is this just like the queen and her husband? I think his name is Albert, and like Charles and what's her name? Who's not Diana? What the fuck is her name? Camilla.
Or is it Camilla?
Camilla. And Charles and Camilla, or does it also include like Harry and Meghan and what are
I
their
can't
names?
believe
The
we have-
boring ones,
I can't-
Catherine and the responsible ones.
William and Kate.
William and Kate. Okay, so I don't know. Wow, I thought I knew the royals better than this, but I'm gonna watch the documentary. I'm gonna let you know. Okay, so far, what I do know about it is this: Prince Charles has a butler who irons his shoelaces every morning.
Yeah, so do I. His name is Joey. What the fuck? No, I'm just
He
playing.
requires that his shoelaces be ironed every day before he like laces up his shoes or whatever. That's weird to me because I think of rich people as having shoelaces that are round, like those thin round shoelaces, not
Right.
like regular old flat white sneaker shoelaces.
I watched The Crown,
Mm-hmm.
and
I got through a season of that. I had to watch it with closed captioning though.
That gentleman that we're speaking of,
Albert.
Albert,
Mm-hmm.
he's an athlete, and we might be talking about sneakers. He
Could
may
be.
be going for a run.
Could be. I also kind of envision them all wearing like Vans with stretchy stuff on the stretchy Vans that don't have any laces.
Like the slip-on Vans?
Yeah.
The ones that, like the skaters in LA wear?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
They're rich. They can afford lots of pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
so
but
that's
they're always white.
they are.
They're always
Very clean.
Very clean.
Wear them once and then toss them.
Right.
Okay, so that's one thing that he has done. He has his shoelaces ironed every day. The other thing that he has done is he has his butler squeeze his toothpaste, so he never has to squish the toothpaste
Yeah,
tube.
duh, so do
or
I.
whatever.
I have
So-
my butler do that. His name is Joey.
So
Thank
this
you.
is a little bit different question than like what would you do with millions and millions of dollars. But if you had a butler service, what do you think would be like the weirdest thing that you would have them take care of for you?
the weirdest.
Or what? I mean, I don't know.
So you're talking about, I'm like, he's gonna make me pancakes,
I know.
but that's not weird.
Well, honestly, and I couldn't think of anything weird either. I was like, oh, I would have them drive me around. I would love to have car service more than anything. We don't even live in a city that requires car service.
No.
You know, we don't even live in New York City, but I would love to just have a driver / car service all the time at my disposal.
I know what I would do.
What would you do?
I would have my butler go to work for me.
You wouldn't need to go to work.
Because I'd be a royal.
Yeah, because you'd be a royal. So I also was thinking, I do not think that I would have a stylist because after our shopping adventure today, it was so fun.
I want to do it myself.
Yeah, I don't want someone bringing me the options. I want to do it myself.
You know what? I don't want somebody styling me because they don't. I mean, maybe if they knew me really, really well.
Yeah, I could style you, maybe.
But it took me 42 years to get to know what looks. Well, it didn't take me 42 years. It took me
started
like
the minute I came out of the womb.
That was a lie. That was a lie. But it took me into my adulthood.
Yeah.
To be like, because I could look at all the cute clothes and I'd be like, that's cute, that's cute, that's cute. But now I can discern what would like speak Sandy, like tell the world who is Sandy, and what also like flatter me the most, right?
Yeah.
So I know when I go dress shopping what kind of dress not to get.
Yeah.
No matter how cute it is.
Yeah.
Sorry for you. That doesn't
agree.
look good on me.
One of the things that was great about shopping with Sarah today was she was like, any of these fabrics I can make in any of these shapes.
I know.
Oh, you like that fabric and that shape? I'll make you that out of that. I was like, what? Anyway, that's a sidebar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Truth.
I agree. I would not have someone shop for me. I would have someone cook for me.
Oh, yeah.
Personal chef's a no-brainer.
I love cooking, but like on a routine basis. So on my busy days, I could come home and have food, but I don't want to totally give up.
No, you wouldn't have to. But you would have someone making you pancakes all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I would like to have someone draw me a bath.
I have
Like on the regular, you do have that. Oh, I would also like to have an in-house manicurist because I am in trouble tonight because I didn't get to the manicurist this week and I have a couple missing ones.
Yeah, but that's just like, oh, that'd be nice to have all that. Like, who wants to sit and listen to us talk about that? What would be weird, though? Like, what's the weirdest thing? I can't think of a weird thing I'd have a butler do.
That I hate doing. Got one?
Well, this is just a question.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not feeling I would want a butler to do this.
Okay.
But would we get to the point where we're like, butler, wipe my ass? I'm trying to think of something weird we might actually have a butler do. I might have a butler be the one in charge of tweezing my husband's nose hairs instead of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
some
that
personal
would be
hygiene
it.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that's something I could give up.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's all I could think of.
I know the other thing I was thinking of is I would have someone clean, but that's different. Like that's different than housekeeping. I mean, housekeeping is like not even a weird thing.
Yeah.
People do that all the time.
You know what it is because we're not rich. So we can't be rich and eccentric yet. Once we would like get rich and eccentric, that's when the weird shit would come.
Yeah, that's true. That's when you would be like, I need you to deliver me 75 rolls of 85 millimeter film, and I want to watch it in a dark room.
Yeah,
and
I only want the orange Skittles.
Yeah,
shit like that.
Fuck yeah,
But
only
because
the red Skittles for me.
Because we just like have to be humble because of like our place in
Although,
the order of things.
I did buy us Mega Millions tickets. You have 2 tickets. I have 2 tickets. The jackpot's $90 million. So we'll see what happens. So maybe we have an opportunity. Maybe I would be like, if I was really eccentric and rich, I would be like, give me an entire room of the Blaze of Atomic Glory air fresheners.
But you wouldn't. Like right now, the person you are, you wouldn't. But maybe once you get eccentric.
You're right. Once I get eccentric, that's true. That could happen.
Yeah.
So
I hope it doesn't though, because we've already had our lottery episode.
That's true. So
and we've discussed this, and we have like boundaries set about what we're gonna do with the money, so that doesn't happen to us. And I hope that we can both stay humble.
Oh, humble.
I really do.
Yeah, that's all I have. That's all I have on catching up stuff, kind of like getting into the chit chat of today. Our primary discussion today, however, is about Thanksgiving and family.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that like kind of an accurate?
Totally. But I feel like I have.
Oh, do you have more stuff?
I had
some other stuff to check in
on?
on?
I had something very important that's happened in my life that I have to share with the All Gold Everything listeners. And this gets back to one of my deepest, truest loves that when we first started this podcast, we thought we would talk about a lot more, but we haven't really talked about it a lot.
What is it?
Well, on November 4th of 2018, a new season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta dropped.
Oh.
Yes, girl.
Yeah.
Yes, girl. And it did. It did what it always does. It gave me life.
Yeah.
So I feel like that there might be 1 or 2 listeners out there who may be feeling how I'm feeling. And I just want to like talk about a few bits and pieces of it because only the first episode, but so much has happened.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought we were also going to spend more time on Real Housewives. Part of this is because I can't get around to watching it.
Yeah, it would be tough to just jump in right now, especially
I
on
haven't
Atlanta.
been on the bandwagon since the beginning.
Yeah.
I did watch a little bit of Atlanta, though. So, like, I know who Kim is with her wig business, and I know
she's not really on anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
And I know,
but she's also a good one to talk about.
Yeah, lots of drama with her.
Do you know who Nene Leakes is?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean,
but I don't know how she's a real house. Like, is she married to someone? Is she independently wealthy? Is she like famous? She's kind of famous for having a song now.
No, that's Kim.
Oh, sorry. Don't be tardy to the party. Okay.
Oh, hey. Okay. No, so Nene's probably doing pretty well for herself.
Yeah.
But it's mostly because of Real Housewives fame. So she was a stripper, and I think she had a previous marriage, and then she married Greg Leakes.
Okay.
And Greg Leakes is probably sort of was a bit of a sugar daddy for her, but they actually are partners and they're a team. But she married him and got to like kind of move on up into a higher lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because of her marriage to Greg
Social
Leakes.
climbing. Yeah.
Total social climbing.
Yeah.
And then she got on Real Housewives season 1 with a real bad wig. And she, and she's the OG of Atlanta, and she's comedic genius, comedic gold. I mean, these women are the funniest women, but she's definitely the head. I don't know. She's the queen.
Yeah, she's the queen.
She's Nene Leakes, but she's also a very polarizing character herself. She's out of her fucking mind, and I'm sure that there's it's been many seasons, but I'm sure there's been drugs. I'm gonna say it, Nene. I'm not afraid of you. I know.
Call us.
I know.
Call us.
I don't know where she is with it
Email
now.
us.
There's some real shit going on in her life.
Oh, okay.
But she also she's got temper issues, anger management issues. She says what she wants. She's adorable. She's funny, but she's got some issues. There's been some ups and downs. I'm not gonna lie. I have not always been on Team Nene. But right now what's happening, so I don't know how many seasons. It's like 8 or so seasons of Atlanta.
100, I have no idea.
You get to know these women.
Yeah.
And her husband.
Is Portia still on?
Yes.
Okay.
Girl, yes. Girl, Portia. Fucking yes. But Nene's husband has been diagnosed with colon cancer.
Oh, man. That shit's gnarly.
I cried.
Yeah. I bet.
Cried watching Real Housewives.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know what though? It's awesome because it's kind of like, I hate to call it like a guilty pleasure, but it's like the thing that you love, and you've watched it from the beginning. You know whatever about realness, or it seems like those ladies show up with some realness. And if it's not real, it's like still like a part of them or whatever. So it's like they bring it. So it's like
no, especially Atlanta brings it 100 every season. Anyway, so that's like the first thing that is just like I have to talk about it. I have to. The other thing, number 2, is that Portia's got a man and Portia's pregnant. And this is tough for me as somebody who considers herself like I'm all about a healthy relationship, and I'm highly suspect of this shit. And it's kind of a bummer to watch. But Portia, she's bringing it this episode. But this episode, she was a little too giddy in love, a little too over the top. And I'm like, come on, bring it back, girl. But she made me laugh so hard in the first episode.
Love it.
Yeah, Kenya had her baby, so that was real. She's like 46 years old, and she had a baby.
Oh, my God.
She's kind of fired. She's not on the Real Housewives anymore.
Oh, because she had a baby?
No. I think there was, I don't know. But anyway, and Candy, who's 42, I'm always going to, Candy's my age. She's talking about having another baby.
Whoa.
And her daughter, who reminds me a lot of my daughter, called her out and was like, yeah, no, not the way you guys parent now.
Is that Candy Marks? Is that her name?
Candy Burris.
Oh, Candy Burris.
She was in Escape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. She's a singer.
Yeah. And I think that's all that's like newsworthy, noteworthy. Cynthia's got a man, but of course Cynthia's got a man.
Duh.
Yeah, but it gave me life. I was loving it. And then I thought there was something else I felt like we needed to talk about, but I don't remember what it is anymore because I don't write it down.
I take some notes on my phone because otherwise I will forget, and then I'll be like, well, we've got nothing to talk about.
Yeah. But anyways, that made my day.
Well,
I think that everybody should watch it, and you can watch it now because it's just starting.
Sweet. Well, and I have some time, so maybe I'll fill my time with that. Yes. Who knows? Who even knows?
Yes.
I don't even know. So we were talking about we're moving into the holiday season.
Yes.
It is kind of the Bermuda Triangle sometimes, the season of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
Why do we call it the Bermuda Triangle?
In recovery, we call it the Bermuda Triangle because like people go out and we never see them again.
Oh, okay. That's actually kind of clever.
Meaning like that they get drunk and then they're just out drinking for the rest of their lives,
Yeah.
or they just decide not to come back.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's a hard thing to navigate. It can be a hard thing to navigate sober. It can also be a hard thing to navigate if you're not sober.
Right.
Holidays are tough, or can be tough.
Yeah.
They don't have to be.
So is the Bermuda Triangle, is it because it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's?
Uh-huh.
Is that the triangle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay.
I'm right here. And is there a circle around the Bermuda Triangle?
I don't know. It's a triangle. It's definitely just a triangle, though.
Yeah,
But
okay.
it could just be a line. But then the metaphor doesn't work as well. So
no, I've never heard it. All my
Oh,
years,
really?
all my years
Oh,
I
that's
haven't
funny.
heard that. So, or maybe I just wasn't listening. I'm like, no,
so-
I can't fit any more of your fucking analogies in my head.
no more analogies.
No more.
You're right. It's kind of a clever one. It's not
It's a
like,
good one.
whatever. So, so Thanksgiving is coming up, and we were talking a little bit about like family and how to kind of just like not just like get through it, but just like some thoughts about having family around and what that's like.
Yeah, I mean the topic came up for me because we were like planning the holidays, and it's like it's almost like this battle is coming that we have to walk into, and it's not that way for Joey or myself anymore, but that's the way it's often presented.
Right.
And we were kind of, so I got an opportunity to talk to Joey about this, and it was really in the context of how we are going to approach, because we're having people over for Thanksgiving, and then there's family for Christmas, and I don't think we really do anything for New Year's.
What are you guys doing for the Christmas season? Are you guys planning on staying here? Are you planning on going to Bend, or are you planning on going to
I've had
one of the coasts?
I've had 2 requests that we go to LA, which we haven't approached yet. And it is different now being a married woman, how I approach this stuff, and it's tough, very tough. But but basically in the setting of this election, and in the setting of politics, and in the setting of family, like basically Joey and I, we got into a conversation about, we had to sit down and have a conversation about who we are, what are our values for what we want our holidays to look like, and like what boundaries can we set so that our holidays are in alignment with that. Yeah. And it sounds like really like dark, and it's like that's not what the holidays are about, but like it is, because for all of us, I think we would all agree that the holidays are about getting together with the people that you love, whether it be your family of origin or your
family of choice. Totally.
And breaking bread. Yeah. And definitely, like, let's just focus on Thanksgiving, because that's what's coming up.
First things first.
What's next is we know the political history of the holiday, and not many people are like actually like, oh, we're gonna go to your house to eat turkey to commemorate the Pilgrims. Like that's not why we're doing it. Yeah. It's like we can get into the history and be sadistic, but I think we're all getting tired of that. I think that the political climate is like, too tough. And it's like, you know what?
Can we just get together and eat?
Can we just get together and eat?
Can we eat some good food and hang out, and not work?
So that's what my values are. My values are around, like, I'm really grateful that I can have a home. Like, Joey and I are both. We're really grateful that we have a home where we can offer people to come and we can cook food. Right. And share that with them. And we just really want our family there to do that with us. So then what comes next, and I think this is a struggle for many people, is the issues with the crazy family members, the weird family members. Yeah. Sometimes we have toxic relationships with family members. Yeah, totally. And it gets a little bit like iffy. And I know a lot of people are feeling like they have to put their armor on to go home for the holidays. And I think that that's where this conversation about coming back to what are our values. And so what Joey just told me, this beautiful little story about his uncle. And his uncle kind of took a bit of a paternal role, although Joey had a wonderful father right there too. But he's the one who taught him to like pitch a baseball, and just took a lot of interest in Joey, and really showed up for him in a way that Joey really appreciated in his childhood. Yeah, really close to this uncle. And as Joey grew up, when Joey became a bit of a political asshole, like Portland, super liberal, like, he just, and then when everything happened in the 90s politically, like we thought that was bad. Yeah,
I know, shit.
He started to like resent this uncle. And he started to like really just kind of pull away from him, and holidays were really uncomfortable for him because this uncle had a different political approach, and he would be really outspoken about it.
Right.
And it really got in Joey's way of enjoying the holidays with him.
Right.
And like Joey and I, when we had this conversation, he's been able to like reconnect with his uncle like in the past several years. And he was like, I'm just so grateful that I can set that aside.
Yeah.
I want to spend time with him. I want to be around him. And he's like, I can totally set that aside.
Yeah.
And it's like such a beautiful thing, I think, to talk about, to sit down and define what are my ideals.
Yeah.
And I think once like we had our ideals defined, it's like, oh yeah, like we can set that aside.
Right.
And
in order to achieve this, we can set that aside.
Yeah. And it's okay to say like, so say for instance, I had a family member who just, what's the word when you're making it up? Hypothetically, just say hypothetically, I had a family member who perhaps maybe once in their time had a Confederate flag hanging in their home. Do I not invite them over? Or do I invite them over because I fucking love them?
Right.
And is it okay for me to be like, hey man, that's fucked up. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Yet we can still like have set that aside and have this time together because we actually do have another bond, and they do bring me joy to be around.
Right.
And it was like really nice to put it in those terms.
Right.
And I don't feel like I have to put my armor on.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the things that's so awesome about that is that there are a couple of things about it. First of all, I think it speaks to resilience in our relationships, that there are parts of us that can go, there are things that we can disagree on vehemently with other posthumously, vehemently, all the words with other people that we're related to, and that if we are really clear on what we want out of the holiday or what we value about this space, we go, okay, well then it's just like, I love that you outlined it like this because it's really so clear. What do I value? What do I want to do? How does this affect that? Can I set this aside in order to achieve this? It's just like really beautiful. Thank you for that. What a gift. You're welcome, listeners.
Yeah, you're welcome, listeners.
From Sandy.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, what about like the other thing that came up was this thing about setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And that may need to come in because, the stuff that I'm talking about is kind of stuff that we can handle that's not toxic, that doesn't cause harm.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just like glaze over and be like, yeah, that's great. But my mom, she like likes to break bottles over my head when she gets drunk.
I do think that there are some relationships that are I think that when we have relationships that are truly toxic, it's best for everyone when we don't have them.
Well, right. And that's where like the boundaries come in.
Yeah.
And so it's like once we're able to set our ideals, then we're able to know we know what doesn't fit our ideal, and then we're able to like set real boundaries that work.
Yeah.
So if it's really tough and it doesn't fit your ideal that your mom gets drunk and tries to break a bottle over your head, then you might not want to spend Thanksgiving with your mom.
Right. Exactly. I think the other thing that kind of bubbled to the surface for me while you were talking about that is just kind of like the cultural pressure or like the cultural conception of what holidays are like versus like what they really are like for me. There's a couple of things I get caught up in.
Yes.
I don't have a large family. Like I have, my dad is passed away. His family was very small anyway. My mom is around, and then my brother, but they're both in Denver. And my brother and his wife have 2 small children. But that's really, and then Jeff and his daughter. So it's like, there's like maybe 10 of us when we're all together now. 6, 10. And I have this idea in my head of holidays of like fucking the movie Home Alone,
right?
Where it's like boisterous and there's people running around and there's all these kids running around and there's all this and there's like all this action. And so then I show up for our holiday and it's like, hey, what's going on? And like just regular chit chat, not even like, just regular chit chat. And it doesn't quite hit the same energy level that I'm looking for, that I'm wanting it to hit. And so sometimes that can leave me feeling really like disappointed or disoriented about it. And so it's like, I can just remember, like, especially as I've gotten older and especially as I've been sober longer, that I'm like just truly grateful to be able to like spend time with the people that I love and like watch a movie with them, or sit down and like have food and eat, and do a FaceTime with them later or whatever, so like that's a really incredible thing. The other thing for me is about the idea of holidays being hard. And for my family, they aren't particularly challenging. There's not a lot of like huge personality issues that are challenging. So it's like I don't have too much experience with being like, oh man, the holidays are so hard. But there is also this strong cultural narrative going that for some, and that I know is true for some. There are some people for whom holidays are truly tremendously difficult. Largely, those people are involved in toxic relationships and have some boundary setting to do. My relationships, whatever kind of roller coaster I have on my relationships with my family members, none of my relationships with them are toxic. And so it's like, I don't really, sometimes I can kind of buy into that, like, oh, holidays are so hard. This is so challenging. And I'm like, what am I? That's not true for me.
Yeah.
I don't need to. Sometimes I can absorb some of those narratives that are coming along, that are just out there,
Totally. I mean, and like the first thing you said about the kind of this this more like the external ideal of what the holidays are supposed to look like.
Right.
So we have this like external narrative about like it's supposed to look, and we're all supposed to be joyful.
Yeah.
And
everyone's wearing their Christmas sweater, and there's all the lights, and there's like a giant tree, and there's like the presents everywhere, and like.
Well, that's where actually setting boundaries has come in this year for Joey and I because I'm like, I want to. The part of me that kind of wants to fit into that like kind of cultural demand is the part of me that wants to put on a good production for everybody. And Joey was able to point out, because I am high on the fact that we had a great time. We had delicious food.
Yeah.
And Joey's reminding me, he's like, well, do you remember like how hard you worked?
Right.
He's like, you were like, you worked the whole, because I work at work at my job, and then I come home and I'm up all night cooking, and then I'm up first thing in the morning.
We did Thanksgiving at your house last year, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I know this is what you're talking about, the food prep and all. I mean,
Yeah.
you worked nonstop. The presentation was beautiful. Your home looked gorgeous. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, so it was like that kind of goes back to the ideal. Is it more about the production and the
how it
honestly,
looks.
quite frankly, the quality of food, or is it more about having everybody together and breaking bread?
Right.
And he reminded me that, it was stressful for him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I got it. Like, I got it. But it was stressful for him because he did need to help me quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he didn't get his dick sucked that day. I mean, that's very stressful, boo. I know. I'm sorry. But like, really it was about like setting boundaries around, like, I can ask people to bring food.
That's right.
So to take the load off of that.
Yeah.
And getting back to ideals, like let's get back to what our ideal is, and does it really have to be the perfect production?
Right. Yeah, I love that. So just to kind of a couple of things to kind of sum it up. I mean, sit down with whoever, sit down either by yourself, if you're just by yourself, if you have a partner, sit down, outline what your ideal is for the holiday season. What you would you prefer to be like a little stressed out and have the beautiful production, or would you prefer to like be chill and have like everyone just arrive and be okay? Can you let some of that stuff go?
Yeah. Well, it's like, first, it's like, what is meaningful? Like, what is truly meaningful to your heart, to who you are? And then, and then the ideals go from there, right?
Yeah.
Because it has to be authentic. It has to be.
I totally agree. I think we should talk a little bit more about the concept of toxicity, because we have a little bit more time.
'Cause you know that I'm toxic.
And so I just... We hit Lady Gaga, Christina Aguilera, and Britney Spears all in one tonight. I'm here for it. I guess we're done now. That's it. What I would say is that, I just want to put a reminder out there. I have a strong conviction that there are some people with whom our relationships are too toxic for us to remain in a relationship of any kind. Right. So like, I just want to put it out there that if you're in a really fucking toxic relationship with someone, you don't have to keep emailing them. You don't have to invite them. I mean, the reality is, like, if you invite someone, if you are having a holiday thing and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to invite this person, but I really hope they don't come, like, don't fucking invite them. Right.
Yes.
And you don't have to explain it. You don't even have to say like, oh, you don't have to send them an email saying like why they weren't invited. You just don't invite them. And like, I just think like that in a world where we strive to have the best possible relationships with people, sometimes the best possible relationship is no relationship. Yes. And that's okay.
It's beautiful.
It's totally fine. And it doesn't matter who that person that you're having the no relationship with is. It could be your mom. It could be your sister. It could be a brother. It could be a sister-in-law. It doesn't matter. And you don't have to explain it. You don't owe anything to anyone. It's okay to just set some boundaries around that stuff so that you're not turning inside out or turning yourself into a pretzel to try to appease or like make something.
Yeah. I mean, but check your motives first, because you want to make sure you're not doing it to punish somebody, because you could be toxic too.
Ooh.
But if it is truly somebody who's continually causing like you or me emotional harm, then yes, of course. It's so much better for everybody involved to just step away.
Yeah, totally. So I love that. I think that's such a great, thank you so much for that topic for this week. It was like such a good substantive discussion. And it just it makes me very excited about the holidays. Winter is coming. It's okay though, because I have a blaze of atomic glory. I have a room full of blazes of atomic glory. I think that's all we've got for tonight. Is there anything else that you want to add on the tail end?
I don't think so. I think that's it. Cheerio. I'm going to watch the Royals show.
We're going to watch, it's called Serving the Royals. We'll be
Serving
watching
the
it this week.
Oh my gosh, I want to talk about one more TV thing.
Oh, okay.
This is maybe like if we're like saying cheers, saying goodbye, I'm just going to give a little recommendation for a Netflix series that I never saw coming, people. I never saw this one coming. The Frankenstein Chronicles. What the fuck?
I don't know what it is, but I'll check it out.
You'll watch like the first 8 of 9 episodes and you'll be like, the fuck, Sandy? What the fuck? But so I watched, I think it's a 10 episode series.
Okay.
Maybe 8. Don't quote me on that. Maybe 8. And I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't know.
Is this like a real life thing, or is it? It's not a cartoon, is it?
No, it's real life. It's set in like the 1860s
Victorian era.
London. It's really like when medicine was pretty fucking brutal.
Maybe we'll have a London episode next week. Sorry.
Yes. And it's kind of in alignment with the Royals because they're British. And it's Frankenstein. It's a story of Frankenstein.
Oh, cool.
But you don't see this shit coming, people.
Okay.
You will not see this shit
Will I
coming.
be able to sleep after I watch it?
Well, it's sort of like a true crime, 18-something. Like, I feel like they would tell this story on My Favorite Murder if it were true.
Okay.
And it's about a detective, and it's the guy who plays Ned in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And he's investigating this Frankenstein-like murder.
You know I like a good detective.
And it gets into politics of the day, and I was kind of like not really into it because it was just weird enough, and that I was just like, I'm not really into this. And it's really cold there. Like, they shot every scene with like you could see their breath because it's so cold. I'm like, I'm really done with this. I get it.
It's fucking
it's
cold.
fucking cold. They don't have heat. I get it. You're inside and you can see your breath. But the fucking last episode blew my wig back. And last night we weren't even going to watch it. I was like, boo, it's just the last one. Don't you think we should finish it? So we finished it, and I was like,
mind blown.
Kaboom!
Oh my god! If you're ready to have your mind blown,
good.
Watch what's it called again?
Good. The Frankenstein Chronicles.
Chronicles. We'll leave you with that.
Yeah,
I love it.
And then the last thing I have to say, just to finish up, there is one episode left of Kidding, and it's on Showtime, and I highly recommend it. You know how I love everything that is human about humans.
Yes, you do.
And this is a great story about a human falling apart. It's beautifully told. Funny, well written. One more episode left. You need to watch it.
Awesome. Well, with that, we will be sending a love, light, and gold from Portland, and we want you to
stay vigilant.